Hey guys, in today's video, we're gonna look at reskinning some drums. I think this is a really valuable thing for all engineers to know how to do. Even if you're not a drummer, being able to reskin drums, very handy thing to have in your toolbox. So what I did first is take all of the old heads and rims off of this drum here. This is a 16 by 16 SJC Navigator floor tom here, and I've already unpackaged a brand new Remo Ambassador, which we're gonna throw on the bottom, and then I'm gonna be throwing a Remo Emperor on top. Both of them are coated heads. I find that they work really nice in the studio vibe because the coated kind of dampens them a little bit more. We don't need that super explosive sound, especially in the room that we have here at Adam Audio. Tall vaulted ceilings, a lot of wood. We're gonna try and control the drums a little bit by picking the right heads. So this Ambassador is gonna go on the bottom. First thing I did, of course, is when I took off the old heads, kind of cleaned up and made sure that the surface was in good shape. There was some dust that had kind of accumulated, especially on the batter side, in the crease between the head and the rims. So got rid of that, cleaned it up, made it look nice. Additionally, I took a little bit of silicone and dropped in each of the lug holes. Just 1 or 2 drops, just so that it lubricates and I can put the lugs back in and have it go in really smooth. We're trying to get even tension on things, so having a good feel for that is really important. So first thing, obviously, we're gonna put the drum head onto the drum itself. I'll take the rim, seat it on, and then one by one, start partially screwing in each of these lugs. We're just gonna use the fingers to go just to where it has a little bit of resistance on the rim. So something that's important when you're starting to tighten down these lugs is you always want to work in opposites here. So this drum here is an 8-lug drum, so I'm kind of going to work in a 2X pattern here. So I'll tighten up these guys, just finger tight is good. You can kind of hear the drum head starting to kind of crack a little bit. That means that it's starting to seat well. Okay, so I'm gonna apply a little bit of pressure to the drum head itself and help it seat on the drum just a little bit better. So I'll just take something to, my hands are a little grimy from screwing in those lugs a little bit. So just take a paper towel here and kind of get around the middle of that head. And so we're not going with a ton of pressure just yet. We'll apply more pressure later. But what this is gonna do is allow the head to loosen up a little bit too, to where it wants to live most of the time. So as we are tensioning the rim onto the drum, you inherently are starting to make the drum head flex a little bit. So it's going to start to stretch and expand. So if we can help it stretch and expand now, we won't have to tune it as much when the drum has the recent heads on it. It's not terribly convenient to have to continually tune the bottom head of a floor tom or a rack tom or a snare. So we can break this thing in a little bit ahead of time. That'll help. But if you go around and start feeling the finger tightness that you had done before, there's a little bit more room to give now because that drum head is loosening up. All right, so about finger tight all around. And what I want to try and find here is the note that this drum wants to play. So we're gonna tap on the side of the drum itself. Okay, so that's about the note that we're gonna try and find with this bottom head here. Something that we wanna keep in mind when we're tensioning drum heads is having a consistent balance across the entire tension spectrum. So every lug's got the same note being played when you're tapping on it. Now I like to use kind of the edge of my finger right here, right on the rim, so that when I tap the drum at that lug, or at that lug, the same spot of my finger is hitting the head so I can get the same relative pitch on it. So we'll just start a little by little. I'm just gonna start by going a half turn on each of these lugs though. Again, keep that crisscross pattern in mind so the head tensions up evenly. You can really hear all these notes are getting very close now. That guy's just a hair flat. Hair sharp. So something you got to be careful of when you're doing this fine tuning thing is that if I loosen up this lug a little bit, it's going to detension the head some right here, which of course has a little bit of a ripple effect going towards these 2 lugs right here. So if I loosen this one up, it's going to detension this side of the head a little bit, and then these guys are going to loosen up too. So it's a bit of a play between lugs all the time. I also like to, as you might have noticed there, kind of combination of going across the head So approaching that in that kind of T or X form, trying to get these two lugs to sound the same, these two lugs sound the same. The note that this drum wants to be at is actually just a touch higher than what I've got this head tuned to right now. So I can take everything up just a little bit. I really trust the drum manufacturer to make a good shell. That way, if the shell is right, all you gotta do is kind of get this thing in the realm of the shell's pitch, and you'll have a really nice, resonant, bouncy drum. That'll work. It's got that overtone in it, but we're gonna kill that in a second with some cotton balls. So I've got about a dozen cotton balls here that I'm gonna drop into the drum. And what that's gonna do is these cotton balls are gonna end up lying down on the resonant side head. And when you strike the drum, that sound is gonna hit that resonant side head, make those cotton balls pop up a little bit, and then they're gonna rest back down on the head. I think it sounds pretty nice, kind of a goofy trick. Feel free to give it a try. All right, now we're gonna throw a coated emperor on for the batter side. On this one, we're either gonna go for a fourth or a fifth-ish below what the resonant head is doing to kind of give that drum that full-bodied feel. Same rules apply. Drop that rim on. Do the initial threading, and then we'll go finger tight again. We'll go in the T pattern, and then we'll go in the X pattern. All right, we're all finger tight again. Head's starting to crack a little bit. Let's make it crack some more. All right. Now we're not trying to crank on it when we're doing that. We're just enough to kind of feel it loosen up. If it was a kick drum head, we could really crank on the thing, but we don't want to kill the head too quickly here. Okay, all finger tight everywhere. Wonderful. I'll start with the same half turn that we did before. A lot of times you can get away with having the batter head really loose on these guys. So where have we got the bottom head? We're gonna go below that. We're simply looking to see that it sounds consistent and doesn't have any odd overtones at different pitches that are not gonna give us a consistent sound throughout the drum. Cool, so I'm gonna drop a single moon gel about a half an inch from the rim between two lugs. We'll see if that kind of kills the drum enough and makes it feel kind of dead. Good for kind of a studio vibe. Perfect amount of dead for what I'm looking for. Awesome. We'll use this thing in the studio here quite a bit. And then once it's time to replace the heads, I'll probably throw another coated emperor on the top and we'll be in good shape. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. And place in the comments section any future videos that you would like to see from us.